Ralph Yarl, who was shot at a door because he rang the doorbell. Well, there's an update. Here it is.
1 year ago, Ralph Yarl was just 16 years old. He loved nature walks with family, jumping on trampolines, and playing in his high school band. That was Ralph before April 13th, 2023. This is Ralph now.
I've tried to keep a sort of sense of normalcy so that I can continue being the person that I am and that I used to be.
Forever changed when he rang the doorbell of the wrong home while trying to pick up his twin brothers. And 85-year-old Andrew Lester shot him twice in the head and arm. Ralph's survival deemed a miracle.
Would you say it's been harder to physically recover or mentally recover?
Definitely mentally, but it's a constant uphill battle.
Ralph suffered splitting headaches. Always an A student, he now struggles to study. In the last few months, he crashed his car twice. His mother and aunt say sometimes he can't sleep. Other times, he sleeps too much.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. There's more. They elaborate on this. Here it is.
When you have trauma, initially there's the shock of all of it, but then when everything starts to simmer, and then you start to realize how life is not what it used to be.
Ralph and his friends are struggling to process 3 shootings in their hometown over the last year. Ralph's a classmate's killing and the Kansas City Chiefs parade shooting.
It's like a constant nagging of watch your surroundings.
Going to houses and stuff, I'm like, this is the right address. I can't get this wrong.
In October, Andrew Lester, who has pled not guilty and told police he was scared to death, will stand trial for Ralph's shooting.
Mr. Lester is currently comfortable, enjoying his old age.
Ralph hasn't even considered forgiving the man, who in an instant brought his childhood to an end.
Has he ever asked for your forgiveness?
The family speaking out to remind the country, we can't forget. We can't become desensitized.
We are tired of people saying that you're in my thoughts and prayers. We need to get out of your thoughts and your prayers and get into your actions.
Damn right. Put up the picture. I'm so glad that the mother said, we're tired of your thoughts and prayers. I'm glad that the young Ralph Yarl is basically saying, I'm not even considering forgiveness right now, but because he's still processing the pain. He's still processing the pain. So maybe that comes later in life, the forgiveness part. For those who are people of faith who continue to say, thoughts and prayers are with you, I want to remind you that scripture says faith without works is dead. I want to remind you that there is no action that takes place with God not engaging a human being to do it. So you can keep your thoughts and prayers. That's easy for you to say. But the work requires actual faith in operation. Ralph Yarl, 17 years of age, black teen, shot and injured while ringing a white man's doorbell by accident. He simply went to the wrong home. He was being a dutiful son and brother. As the shooter's trial slowly approaches, the teen described how he still lives with the trauma of that awful night. Yarl suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder and anxiety, which possibly played a role in him totaling 2 vehicles over the past 3 months. His mother told the news outlet, vacations were canceled for therapy sessions. Encounters with strangers sparked fear in his own, and his own friends have grown a new sensitivity to gun violence. His family may never go back to normal. However, he still made astonishing progress, as you can see. After suffering a traumatic brain injury from the shooting, he still maintained his motor skills and vision. He's been inducted into the Missouri All-State Band to play the bass clarinet. Also, in the fall, he's headed to college to study engineering. A remarkable human being. All right. Ben, thoughts here?
Clarinet players who are also engineering students are a real threat to society.
Right.
I guess is the opinion of old white racist men answering their doors. It's not everything's about race. This clearly is. Imagine a white boy coming to this man's door. He'd be greeted with kindness, normalcy, neighborliness. And a black boy comes to his door and he gets shot in the head and arm for doing nothing. This man deserves the fullest punishment that the law has to offer, and an example needs to be made. We can't, it seems, unfortunately, we're not at a place in society yet where we can evolve based on just goodness and morals and what's right as far as voluntary behavior. So maybe sometimes the fear of repercussions is what can correct behavior in our society that is just all too often so broken.
Yep.
And let's hope justice is served. And let's hope that Ralph goes on to an amazing college career, an amazing life, and becomes an amazing engineer building the future of this world, which it seems like he will do. It's just unfortunate he has to do that through a bunch of extra challenges that no child should ever have to suffer.
That's right. He's going to be one of the strongest among us.